Kim Rodriguez.
Hello. I was asked back for an encore presentation, so want to just take a couple minutes and talk about Enterprise Holdings' journey as we migrate to Dynamics 365. So I would like to just take a moment and say hello and thank you to Covenant for inviting me to speak on behalf of Enterprise Holdings and on the journey that we're taking to the Dynamics 365 upgrade. I am Kim Rodriguez, and I am a 26-year veteran of Enterprise Holdings. My background is mainly in sales and operations. And so you can imagine an online CRM system upgrade or basically anything called digital transformation is pretty foreign to me. So this is my story. It is the story. I've been a user of Microsoft CRM since 2008. And I'm a major business stakeholder within the Enterprise Holdings organization for the global migration to Dynamics 365. So overwhelming is an understatement of what I took on. In today's presentation, I will provide you an insight into our company so that I can lay the groundwork for the level of effort that it will be to implement Dynamics 365. So really it starts with the strength and power behind the brands. For those that don't know, Enterprise Holdings mainly consists of 3 brands: National Car Rental, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and Alamo Rent-A-Car. Offering a total transportation solution is where we synergize between business lines, and it literally was the basis of our vision statement. The vision brought a cohesiveness and starting point for us to figure out the business value. And from the beginning, and this is one of the things that if any of you are going through an upgrade like this, or I'm sure any upgrade, that we were incessantly talking about governance, adoption, and training strategies right from the beginning and the kickoff of this project. Then I'll finish up with some of my overall thoughts and tips, and then we'll have some questions. So, as a company, our US fleet is larger than all of our major competitors combined. We are larger, we have more locations than any of our major competitors. And when I say locations, I mean that we've got brick and mortar storefronts in over 90 countries and territories. But really, I think all of you would agree as leadership and leaders in this room that really your power comes from what's behind the brands, and that's your people. We have 100,000 employees, and literally tens of thousands of those are salespeople. So as I talked about in the beginning of my presentation, the total transportation solution is something that I wanted to bring to your attention. And mainly it's because it really is where we started to leverage our digital transformation with a synergistic sales process. So if we think about that, all the brands on the screen here are rental business lines for the most part. We've got Fleet Management, which is a sister company to Enterprise Holdings. And what that means is that we had to come up with something that connected all these business lines to be able to bring you a total transportation solution. So if we think about that, you're not just going to rent cars. I mean, some of you might just have that need, but there's a lot of times where you're going to have an opportunity to reimburse yourself for personal mileage. You might have a time that you want to use Enterprise and a time you might want to use National. But come on, guys. There is a time that you're going to want an exotic car, and we're growing. We've got almost 14 locations around the world now. So when you go to London, you'll be able to rent that Bentley or Ferrari. And what's interesting is that we have many accounts within our organization that actually include the option to rent an exotic car. And I think most of you in here are CIOs and have that C-level and different levels of the organization, so I vote that maybe you put that into your contracts. So whatever the challenge our customers face, Enterprise has a solution. So I know, though, that today what you're really here for is to hear about our story, and our story about digital transformation and specific to the migration of the tool Dynamics 365 for Enterprise Holdings. So when we started this last April, and a lot of my Covenant friends are in the room, as well as my IT team here, I had no idea how much we were going to grow as an organization when it comes to actually looking at what software could do for our company. We have a couple of divisions within our organization that don't use a Microsoft product for their CRM. But we were successful in getting all of our business lines to look at one tool. So with the Taylor family owning enterprise, you can imagine they've had integrations, they've had acquisitions, we have multiple business lines that all traditionally had many different systems of record. So the first thing we had to do was get everybody in the room to agree to one sales tool. So last year when we kicked this off in April, that was really a defining moment for all of us. And so we said, well, what do we do now? And Microsoft and their team helped us with adopting a vision. So when you start, you actually have to have a vision, and that's one of the things that most of us come from an internal promotion criteria. So we're all promoted from within the company. So many people sitting on this business team didn't actually have any idea what a vision statement was. We mostly are coming with a rental car background or a fleet management background, and then we're taught how to run a business. So when somebody says to create a vision, it's like, okay. So we all sat down, and it was a bunch of ideas collectively that came to us. And I wanted to share with you some of them. Some of them are on the screen here. But really, it's about adopting and utilizing. So, you know, I said that I was a user of Microsoft CRM since 2008. But it never had the philosophy of, if it's not in CRM, it didn't happen. And that was really some of what our vision was predicated on. If it's not there and our salespeople don't put information in, and I see lots of head shaking, because that's probably the number one thing, that if you don't utilize it, and when I say utilize, I know a lot of people think that adoption doesn't mean utilize. Adoption means you get in there first day and you get your little check mark that says, I'm done. But this really has to be a bottom-up, top-down change for your organization. One of the things that I was steadfast in is messaging coming, and I'll talk about that at a later slide. But really, having even a COO of a company or a CIO putting out a message and a teaser starting way before you're going to launch to help people understand that this is of importance. Because if you just have the salespeople, they're going to go to the path of least resistance. And again, I see head shaking, and I know I'm not going to beat that one to death. But one of the things, we had to improve global sales visibility. We are a global organization, and when we come to make a sales call to you, there's a lot of times that we'd walk into your office, and I wouldn't already know that you had another relationship with a different business line, which then served just to waste your time and annoy you that you didn't have some sort of visibility. Increase visibility and communication across all business lines to grow the business. So again, the first step was to get all of our business units into the tool. And lastly, creating efficiency among sales support teams. We've got support teams all around the globe, and one of our goals is to keep people working as much of the day supporting our sales teams so that we can get to market quicker. So all of this was really part of the vision for Dynamics 365 upgrade. Once the vision was done, we had to figure out what the priorities were and what kind of business value we were going to bring. That again posed a few challenges, because you can always say, what does increased sales productivity look like, right? Because every one of us have a boss that says, I want more money, so you need to grow, and you need more productive people, and by the way, they're going to do more with less. So not only was that something that we had to tackle, but to improve sales productivity, that really means also looking at the connected workforce, right? Because all of the up-and-comers in our particular industries and salespeople have to do a lot with the millennials and all of us that work on the go. It's not, not picking on anybody, but people are looking at their phones right now. And this is where we have to be able to leverage a mobile platform. Dynamics 365 is awesome. So if you don't have it, it's awesome. So the app is pretty cool. So our sales teams will have the first app of their life for Dynamics for CRM on Monday. And that's literally a game changer for us. It's going to be better customer and sales visibility, so better service for you, and a single source of information. I can't tell you how important that is. Performance visibility, so we're also going to be leveraging dashboards and some different reporting so that we can have better visibility into our pipeline management. Soon to be, one of the next phases very soon will also be to have Power BI surfaced. And so we're really excited about what Power BI will do with our sales management and our executive management to be able to manage on the go. Increased efficiency, automated business process and workflows, as well as leverage better Outlook. Oh, I'm so excited for the stability on Dynamics 365 with the Outlook plugin. Excel and Word integration. Again, we came from CRM 2013 on-prem, so that's maybe also putting it out there why I'm really excited about this one. And then globalization. As a company, our initiatives are to be able to rent you, share, or buy cars around the world. And so this will be one of the tools that will help us connect all of those dots. Governance and adoption. When you think about governance and adoption, it's all about building credibility and trust. So you can have people that really are engaged in the tool, but governance really, when you think about it, at the bottom line, it's about credibility and trust. So we decided to do this in a number of different ways. First, we decided that communication starts early. So we started by just renaming our CRM tool. So we now call it Dynamics 365. So that brought it to a whole different level. We established shared priorities and understood that change would need to be managed. We also actively sought input and frequently provided updates. And the more you can link training and workflows to the tool, the better your adoption will be. So along with governance and adoption, we started engaging with corporate training and the business lines early. Building state-of-the-art training took a while. It really did. It's just been finished up this week. Now, we also were very clear with our corporate training department that when we launch globally, there's a non-negotiable when it comes to being able to launch in multiple languages. So not only is the tool going to be in multiple languages, but we've got training materials that will also be in multiple languages. Very important because, again, adoption, France, okay, maybe they could speak English for the most part, or even Germany, but in their native language, they really have no excuses. And training can help you, and adoption is really taking away the excuses. The other thing that we got from Microsoft and Covenant was to build a super user network. We're going to have over 3,000 users getting the tool on Monday. And so when you've got that type of launch, our small CRM team cannot be everywhere for everybody and understand all the different business lines. So again, we did this early. We tapped super users and then set expectations and goals. With that, we built supporting simulations and job aids. And the best thing, that we're keeping the salespeople in the tool by leveraging Learning Path. So they do not need to go outside the tool to get any of their training material. This is Kim's wisdom. My overall thoughts over the last year, at least the ones I'll share with you. It's about progress and not perfection. I bet many of you out here are extremely detail-oriented and perfectionists at heart. So am I. But guess what? I'm learning that technology is not perfect, because the time that you launch technology when it's perfect, it's out of date. So you do your best, and then you ask the CRM gods to pray upon you on Monday, and everything goes really well. There will be things, there will be glitches. And then the other thing is Jared, close your ears, because I'm going to bring the CRM team candy and cookies and things in the war room, so we'll keep them up for many hours. Lots of caffeine. Be flexible. I understand that a lot of people have a lot of things on their plate, and sometimes we're not their first priority. And even if we are, you just have to be flexible. That's one of the things that I learned, is that it's technology, and you just have to work through it. Expect the unexpected. And this is one that I can't tell you, I know you guys all have teams out there, is lean on your internal colleagues. One of the biggest things that I took away, and I'm going to pick on this guy here, Jeff Roderick, that's with Covenant now. He was one of my business partners at Enterprise. And that's where I really, truly learned that we all speak the same language in different ways. And so really partnering with your sales and your operations and your IT department really just solidifies not only relationships, but also your stakeholders. People listen to each other when you start to communicate better. And so you say communicate early, that's great, but really look inside your team for assistance. Corporate training, marketing communications had a huge impact on our communication strategy. We were lucky enough to get our COO to actually launch an email, a teaser email, about a sales product. So don't be afraid to ask your leadership. And if you are the leadership, please send the email out because it means a lot when it comes from you. Lean on Microsoft and Covenant for support because they will be there. They will do their best to answer your questions. They will follow back up with you. And they're an extension of your business when it comes to technology. So that's my story. Questions? Okay.
You ready for Monday?
Ready for Monday, yes. We are ready. I am so excited about this. And people are downloading the apps and they're wondering why they can't use it yet because we're not live. But that's a good sign. I'd rather get those complaints. So it's been absolutely awesome, and I think it will, whatever digital transformation, I mean, I Googled it, and I think we're doing it, but this will digitally transform our organization from a mobile platform and from the ability of the integrations and Power BI and down the road gamification and all of these different things that will drive our sales, and then it'll be of record. And so that's the other component of it is if it's not in CRM, it didn't happen. And so Monday I'll be around the office and be working with all senior leadership to look at their dashboards instead of accepting emails from their sales teams.
So you talked about the super users that are engaged now. Did you get them involved early in the process as well? The super users, did you define that network and rely upon them for feedback early in the process? Or when's the right time to bring that group in?
We engaged them about 6 months before the platform's going to launch. Because first of all, we wanted to set the biggest thing for us was to set those expectations that they're not just going to be super users, but they're going to be engaged to help others, so that it really started when they went into user acceptance testing. It was pretty important that they spent time in doing all the scenarios because they were going to be the ones on the front line on day one. So, well, we went to senior leadership first to say, hey, our corporate training department isn't the team that's going to do this, but we need actual sales and users to be a part of this. So absolutely, I would say 6 months before you launch, if you have that much time to engage and appoint your super user network. Thank you for your time. I'll stay around if you have questions.